The number of injuries in Week 7 was lower than the past few weeks, but they might have just as much as an effect on future NFL fantasy rosters and scores. Let's take a look. Carson Palmer, QB Carson Palmer and the Cardinals were already having a rough day against the Rams when Palmer got hit hard while throwing what would become an interception in the second quarter. Palmer went to the locker room for x-rays of his non-throwing arm. There was hope among Arizona's faithful he could come back with a little padding, but Palmer wound up suffering a significant fracture which will require surgery. The medical staff expects him to miss a minimum of 8 weeks. Jay Cutler, QB Jay Cutler is not a highly owned NFL fantasy quarterback, but if he misses games as his preliminary diagnosis suggests, the value of Miami's wide receivers might rise. At least if Matt Moore continues to play the way he did in relief of the injured Cutler Sunday. Moore threw for 2 touchdowns and led the team to the game-winning field goal against the Jets. He looked animated, decisive, and accurate, pretty much the anti-Cutler. Cutler cracked a rib and is almost certain to miss Thursday's game against the Ravens. There is a possibility he could return in Week 9, bawled Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace was the only starting wide receiver on the field this week against Minnesota, but he was quickly knocked out of the game and placed in the concussion protocol. Newly signed Griff Whalen joined Joe Campanaro and Chris Moore as the only healthy wide receivers the rest of the game. Baltimore has a short turnaround for Wallace to clear the protocol. They host Miami Thursday. Brett Perriman and Jeremy Maclin could make it back for that game, however. Jack Leonard Fournette, RB Fournette technically was injured in Week 6, but since the medical staff cleared him to return to that game, it was a surprise to see him not practice all week leading up to this weekend. He was still questionable until being ruled out before kickoff. The Jaguars activated T.J. Yeldon for the first time this season and kept Chris Ivory in his regular role as relief and passing back. Yeldon exceeded expectations in doing his best Leonard Fournette imitation. No further diagnosis or expectation for next week is available on Fournette. Delaney Walker. Tennessee's Delaney Walker came down hard after a tackle and could not put weight on his ankle as the staff assisted him to the sideline. His injury is an ankle sprain for now, with an MRI scheduled for Monday. CJ Prosize, RB Seattle started the day with a full committee of 4 running backs against the Giants' defense. It was working well until Prosize went down with another ankle injury and did not return. Dan Bailey, PK Dallas went for a needless 2-point conversion after place kicker Dan Bailey left the game with a groin injury. Safety Jeff Heath came in after that and booted 2 of 3 extra points and put 2 kickoffs into the end zone, but he is still not likely to be the Cowboys' kicker of the future. CLE Joe Thomas. It's rare we would mention an offensive lineman in an NFL fantasy report, but Joe Thomas gets the honor for staying on the field for 10,363 consecutive plays before injuring a triceps muscle against the Titans. The Browns fear it is torn, which would cost Thomas the season. It is the first time in his 11-year career he faces any significant time lost. His absence won't do anything to help the carousel of Browns quarterbacks trying to learn the game in Cleveland. Other offensive linemen injured read like a who's who and bear watching for possible effect on passing or running games. Among the lot, Laramie Tonsil Cam Robinson Jack, Ryan Khalil and Turner Carr, center Ryan Kelly and Justin Pugh NYG, Brandon Shell NYJ, and Matt Slausenlack. Pitt Vance McDonald. Vance McDonald left the Bengals name with a knee injury and did not return. No details were given by Pittsburgh after the game. Got a question about NFL fantasy football? Send it to us at email protected and we'll post the answer in Wednesday's NFL fantasy mailbag. Want to share your opinion? Why not write for us? Previous post next.